Okay. Hi, welcome everybody. This is Tara Adams. I'm your wellness manager. How are you? I hope you're well. Today is part two of an eight-part series called Rejuvenation and Resilience. Today, our guest is Dr. Chris Carruthers, who is a sleep health expert and who has helped us several times here at ATB in our sleep challenges and hosted some excellent sleep health workshops. Today, Dr. Chris and I are going to talk about how sleep supports your resilience. And I've shared with you, Chris, that many of our team members have new roles, new teams, new leaders, and there's been a lot of changes here at ATB. So let's start off talking about how is sleep foundational to resilience?
Oh, why? Well, that's such a rich question. And first of all, I want to say hi to everybody. How are you doing today? Hope you're having a good day. Yes, it is absolutely foundational to almost, well, I'm a sleep evangelist, so I have to tone it down, but it's foundational to almost every function we do as the day goes by. And we know that healthy sleep helps us cope better with stress, no question. And there's many other things that sleep does. But to be resilient today, you need 5 key things that sleep is going to help you with. And one is immunity, to
Yep.
keep you strong. Yeah, to keep you strong, keep you resisting all the kind of bugs and things that float around in the air that you're exposed to. And when you are strong, when you are rejuvenating yourself every night with quality sleep, you can really resist so much more. It's actually amazing. We know a lot about cardiovascular health and sleep, and now blood pressure and stress, very much related to sleep. Now, do you see that pop up? I need to change something here. Are you okay?
I'm good. Yeah, rolling.
Okay,
All good.
sorry
It's
everybody.
okay.
I just wasn't sure if something was popping up there. I was just reviewing some physiology about cardiovascular health and sleep, and it's so interesting. Now, during the night when we're sleeping, if we have fragmented sleep over time, let's say a week or even a couple of days, our diastolic blood pressure increases, and it's steadily a little bit higher. And if we're not sleeping well, what we notice during the day is our systolic pressure is higher consistently during the day. So we're looking at really in our delicate management and homeostasis of cardiovascular health is affected by sleep quality, quantity, and of course, sleep apnea. So hypertension is very closely related to stress. The healthier you can keep your heart and your lower heart rate, etc., lower respiratory rate, lower breathing rate, you're going to feel better. So another thing that people don't realize, I don't know how many of you struggle with managing a healthy weight or having enough energy to exercise every day. Tara, I do.
Yeah.
Really, sometimes you just feel, well, I'll speak for myself. I just feel like I'm tired and I think I'll just pass on my exercise program today. Yeah. But I encourage people who are struggling with energy or weight management to focus on their sleep first and even kind of put their exercise program aside for a couple of weeks, because simple changes in your sleep can affect what we call the hypothalamic pituitary axis. So the hormones that regulate insulin and whether you're going to retain weight or let go of weight, etc. It's a very delicate hormonal, intricate kind of system that of certain proteins, leptin and ghrelin in the body, that if they're not regulated properly, it's going to be almost impossible to lose weight. So if that's a factor, I don't know if it is for some of you listening, if you're struggling with your weight, focus on your sleep first. So sleep does that. Now let's talk quickly about safety and accidents. Sleepy people are on our roads and causing a lot of trouble. Now, I foresee a day, maybe someday, where we'll have some kind of sleep test, the way we have the blood alcohol test for driving, that can identify whether you're too sleepy to drive. Because you know what? If you miss 17 hours of sleep, your blood alcohol content is equivalent. No, not your blood alcohol, but your psychomotor skills are equivalent to blood alcohol content of 0.08, which is what? Like you're legally drunk. And this is how we come to work. This is how we're driving on our highways, etc. So that's another key thing.
And I know, Chris, in all of our conversations, you've said, employers would never sanction or knowingly have people come to work drunk,
No, of course
obviously,
not.
obviously. However, whether we know it or not, we let people come to work impaired sometimes by lack of sleep.
And it's harder to function. Your reaction time is slower. Do you know what we know about sleep deprivation is our communication falters
Hmm.
and we miss social cues?
Yeah.
Yeah, so studies on leadership in the workplace and sleep deprivation really clearly indicate what can be improved by improving the sleep of our leaders and our team. So encourage each other as employees, like really support each other to get better sleep. But the biggest thing I want to talk to you about is learning and memory.
Okay, yes, let's definitely talk about how sleep helps our learning because all of us, every single team member at ATB has a very high learning curve right now with Work Reimagined and our G Suite and all kinds of exciting things. And we want to get the best out of all that great work our learning partners do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know what happens during the night is what we call learning and memory consolidation. So it happens only during certain stages of sleep. So it's interesting when our sleep is fragmented, there's certain skills that are affected by the certain part of sleep that is fragmented. So I don't know, I didn't explain that very well, but you can do well with certain stages of sleep. And if you miss out on others, those are the factors that will show up in your day. So it's very interesting. What we know about learning, if I always use an example of students, but it's the same as in an employee situation when you're learning new skills and really maybe feeling overwhelmed. You need to maybe go to sleep 10 minutes earlier, try to lengthen your sleep quantity a little bit more because it's during the night where you actually download the events of your day and the learning of your day, and you file it methodically, hopefully, in places in the brain. You sort and toss away what you don't need, but you need a filing system. That's the metaphor I use because later on you need to retrieve that information. And if you don't have it sorted out properly during the night after you do your learning, you can have trouble with your memory later.
Hmm.
So that's why that is so important. And I just read a study that, well, it was a couple of years, it was 2013 in England. We can actually learn new skills while we sleep. Yeah, so
Interesting.
an interesting study. Well, I don't think we have time to explain it, but it used to be an old wives' tale, like you put a book under your bed and you can kind of learn more. But anyway, just be aware that if you're under a lot of stress, a key thing to do to be resilient with overwhelm and learning new skills and kind of endless changes, focus on your sleep. Yeah.
And even if you're the evangelist, I'm the disciple, I often talk about that. So team members often ask me for advice, and I often say to them, if you can just choose one thing, just start making some of these small changes in your sleep health, and your return on investment will be the highest. And then you have the energy to maybe exercise more, maybe change your nutrition, maybe change your stress, all those things. Um, I do want to talk about one of my favorite analogies, Chris, which is tell us more about brainwashing, meaning brain space washing. What is brainwashing?
Okay, this is wonderful. We know that during a stressful day, our metabolic processes create a lot of waste.
Hmm.
And it's during the night that we actually clear through the glymphatic system of our brain, the glial cells, which are cells that actually open up the cerebrospinal fluid channels. And we kind of dump all the waste into these channels and it clears during the night. It only happens at night. And the degree of what we need for this house cleaning is during the darkness hours. It's not happening during the daylight. So let's make this correlation with mental health, Tara. If you think about Alzheimer's and different
Yeah.
types of dementias, what we see in the brains of people suffering with dementia is beta amyloid plaques.
Hmm.
And this is what builds up when we're not detoxing properly. And sleep is known to be a factor. In fact, it could be the key factor. It's just coming to light now, but just know that you're not wasting time when you're sleeping. Your
Hmm.
brain is just as active at night as it is during the day, but it's doing the functions that doesn't complete during the day. So in the daytime, we have our left brain our frontal lobe. We're thinking, we're logical, we're making decisions, we're, putting knowledge together. Nighttime is the brain functions where we're dreaming, we're creative, we're intuitive, and we're house cleaning. We're getting back to a rejuvenated person that's going to wake up in the morning and start, feel fresh, to really feel fresh. That's how you want to feel in the morning.
And I think too, we even talked about an analogy that all of us can relate to. Like, what if you kept loading your dishwasher with dirty dishes, but you just never turn the dishwasher on? You just let it
Yeah.
sit there for a
Boom.
week or 2 weeks. And this is kind of like your brain without a wonderful night of sleep with that cleaning, the brainwashing.
Yeah,
So I always think
exactly.
about the dirty dishwasher and the brainwashing I love. I
That's a
think any of
really
us
good
can.
analogy. Another one is I don't know if you've ever been in a city or traveled where the waste management system is on strike.
Oh no. Yeah,
Well,
not good.
luckily you've never experienced, yeah, same thing. Too much
Not good.
dirty stuff left over from the day before. Not a good idea.
Okay, so everyone, don't forget to turn on your dishwasher at night, meaning have a good sleep. And don't think of sleep as a waste of time. This is valuable, important time for you, your body, your brain, your resilience, all of these things. See, now it's like I'm a mini Dr. Chris out in the world.
Thank God. Please be on my team when you need as many advocates as we can. I have to just share something with you that I learned in terms of family health and sleep.
Mm,
The latest studies, because I just did a search for you before we were preparing for the talk about resilience. And what showed up in the research is childhood psychological health and psychological pathologies, which you might say anxiety in little ones, depression in little ones,
hmm.
ADHD, and sleep coming forward as well. This is a factor, they're calling it a resilience factor, that helps your kids learn, behave well socially. The tests are very, very interesting. So like you say, be a disciple, be an advocate. Let's help each other out, help each other understand how important sleep is.
Yeah, and if for any of those fellow parents out there, you know darn well what happens when your kid has a bad sleep, or if you and your kids have bad sleep.
Yeah.
Trust me, I've been there. So let's talk about one of the most common things that people come to you and ask about, Chris, which is why are some people early birds and other people are night owls?
It's so cool that you asked that question. It comes up a lot. And what people don't realize, actually what researchers didn't realize until, the past 5 years during genome studies, is sleep is genetically programmed. Our circadian rhythm patterns and timing is genetically programmed. In fact, if you look back at your family and you think, wow, were my parents night owls or were they early birds? You might see some correlations there. You don't always, but it is a genetic factor, very difficult to change. If you are an early bird, it's very difficult for you to change that. So I want couples to know, and marriage therapists want couples to know, this is something you just need to accept and develop healthy sleep habits around for each other. Don't haul your partner out of bed if he or she is a night owl and likes to sleep in the morning. That's the way their brain and body works. That's how they're attuned. So just to have respect for each other on that.
Yeah, I like that. So if your partner is of the same bird family, early bird, night owl, that's great. And if they're not, make sure you understand how this other bird might need to sleep. So
Yes.
let's talk about some really important stuff. We've got a few more minutes for sure. Let's talk about some of the tools or great tips, like those things that you consolidate in your memory tonight. What are the things we want people to learn or do?
Mm-hmm. Well, that's why it's such a joy for me to do this work, because you can change your sleep tonight. You don't have to wait till tomorrow. You don't have to wait for a medical appointment. You don't have to wait for a drug to begin working. It's habits. All through the day, you're building up what we call the sleep drive so that you sleep well. Everything that you do during the day will be a factor in how well you sleep tonight. So some of the most common things, well, first thing I want you to do is this sleep assessment that's it's on the download page, right? People
Yeah,
can,
we'll make sure to put a link to that assessment along with the link to this recording. Easy to find.
Yeah, what I think needs to happen first is we need to be honest with ourselves about our sleep habits. For example, me, I was just on vacation with a bunch of other fabulous people. It was a high school reunion actually, and we went to bed a lot earlier than I typically do, and it worked really well for me. It was darker and quieter than my life here in Calgary. And I realized I need to be open to doing that, which I thought, I definitely am a night owl and like to go to bed later and get up later. But I do have a window of movement there that I could adjust even further. So that's one thing to know. But on your sleep self-assessment, do that and look at some of the one thing that's really important is our response to light and dark. And this relates to melatonin surging in the evening, which is what we call the darkness hormone, puts you to sleep. So during the night, turn down the lights around you and start gearing yourself down in terms of relaxation. Turn your computers off or any electronics around you about 30 minutes before you go to bed. Create a ritual that's very soothing for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So dim lights. Now, your bedroom needs to be dark, 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 dark. That is so simple. And it's the first thing I ask people, is your room completely dark? Well, actually, Chris, not. Okay, just fix that tonight. Use duct tape, use towels, simple. Just notice the difference it makes for you. You can extend your sleep by even 10 minutes, will improve the quality of your day. Very, very simple is a dark room. So our response to light and dark is very, very sensitive. First thing in the morning, throw open your blinds, get yourself into the sunlight if you can, and that starts to build up your sleep drive for the next day. Lots of light during the day, lots of darkness during the night, and the electronics. One thing a lot of people do at night is look at the clock.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, speaking of alarm clocks, why not use an old-fashioned little alarm clock that goes tick, tick, tick?
And why would we do that, Chris? Why? I mean, I know the answer, but why would we do that?
Yeah, so again, it's a factor of light falling onto the brain at night. And computer lights, your iPhone, etc., if you can keep it out of the room, that's the best thing. Any tiny little light, but blue light you're very sensitive to at night. So when you look at even a sliver of light, your brain thinks, oh, okay, I need to tone down the emergence of melatonin and start releasing cortisol and get my day started. So your brain goes, okay, wake up. Now, and it could be 3 o'clock in the morning. You don't want to be giving those signals to your brain, all right? So, just very simple. Keep the lights completely toned down at night. Don't look at your clock. You don't need to know what time it is because it will trigger your thinking. And nighttime is not for thinking. Nighttime is for resting.
And I know even that whole topic of electronics and light in the bedroom is so interesting, can be very difficult for
It is.
people,
It is.
couples.
Yeah.
But I love the way you're talking about the science of it and how it impacts your brain and your body and physically, that you can't have this light and these electronics, and sometimes you can fall asleep but you can't stay asleep, and there's all these things. So do follow doctor's advice here. Do a little house cleaning in your bedroom as far as electronics and light. And I can tell you that I've been a good patient, and I've cleared out even our old alarm clock. And what we bought is called a sunrise alarm clock. And
Oh,
so
those are
there's no
great.
yeah, there's no LED light. So apparently, and again, anyone who knows me, I love to mime. Apparently, we're not all supposed to be sound asleep and then wake up like to this jarring alarm clock. So my
Yeah.
sunrise alarm clock just starts to glow lightly. Now, if this
Um,
doesn't wake you up from a sleep, maybe you have a new puppy or kids and things like that, there is a radio that comes on. And at nighttime, too, it has a very soft light and it's almost like the sun is setting in your room. And folks, yes, you can get it from Costco. Sunrise alarm clock.
Fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
No, there's so many things that you can do. I want to encourage everybody, if it's okay, to go and look at my website, chriscarruthers.com. So when you've
Yep.
done your sleep self-assessment, you may be thinking, okay, what's the next step for me? Have a look. I have a document called the Top 10 Quick Tips to Sleep Well Tonight. And I have another document. I'm going to just show you what it looks like. And it looks like this. the 4 fundamentals of sleeping well. And that's free. Both these resources are free and can outline to you some of the things that you can do to sleep well tonight. Another thing is journaling before you go to bed. I don't know if you ever tried that, but there's a lot of little tricks and techniques that are very simple. And really, I encourage everybody to get started just in a simple way. And then the harder things will fall into place. You'll notice you're calmer at work, you're communicating better at work, you have more energy during the day, you might feel more inclined to exercise and more clarity when you're choosing your foods, when you have a delicious banana or a sugary something. Yeah, so it just is going to benefit you in so many ways during the day.
Awesome. Okay, well, I know we could talk for hours, and sleep health is so interesting and so foundational to our big picture wellness. It is also foundational to what we're calling our rejuvenation and resilience series here. So thank you, Dr. Chris, so much. Always a pleasure to chat with you. And thank you for always being so open and sharing your website and all the tools that are on there. I do recommend that, and we'll also include the link. I want to thank anyone who tuned in to listen to our conversation, and please do keep on the lookout for the next installment of the Rejuvenation and Resilience series. We're going to have a new video, a new resource, a new leader story, and a new behavior for you to try out every 2 weeks from September to December. So thank you, Dr. Chris. Until next time, everybody have a great sleep tonight.
Thanks, everyone. Sleep well. Bye.